Hello, my name's Ray. Welcome back to my channel. My raccoon is falling. Um, Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you why you should go to the library even if you're not a big fan of reading. Because obviously we know you can check out books from the library, and I think most people know you can put holds on books. Like, you can go on their website, you can call them and say, hey, I want this book, and they'll put you on the list. If you didn't know that, that's a thing you can do. My library, you can just do it straight online, and you can set it to pick up at any of the library branches, and they will take it to the branch that you want, because there's 4 branches in my city. So I can just call them and be like, hey, can you bring it to the branch near me, or go online, and they will do that. You can also put pauses on your holds, which is really helpful if you don't have the capacity to read that book at that time. So yeah, I feel like that's pretty common that you know about. But I want to talk about the things that a lot of people don't know their libraries do, because libraries offer so many resources to people, and I think people just genuinely aren't aware of the resources that are available to them. And most libraries across Ontario, at least, offer very, very similar services. So I'm going to talk about the services my library provides and ones I've heard that other libraries provide. And yeah, we'll go from there. So the first thing I want to talk about is the things you can check out from the library, because it's not just books that you can check out. Obviously, it's mostly books. Like, we're aware of that. But there's also magazines. So you can also get magazines, which I think a lot of people are aware of. But my library's online library, like, we have subscriptions to like thousands of magazines on there. So you can go in, you can find knitting magazines, you can find cooking magazines, interior design magazines, tons of stuff. So I would recommend going to your local library's website, checking out their online catalog, and looking at their magazines if you are a magazine girly, because magazines are super expensive now. I have one magazine because it cost me $30 for one magazine. So it's my only magazine, and I love magazines, so that is something that you can check out. Another thing a lot of libraries has is music. You can check out CDs. I've heard that some libraries have like vinyl records that you can check out. Mine doesn't, but I've heard that. So yeah, you can check out music and listen to music. And the thing I think is most applicable that people don't know about, but they should know about, is movies. You can get movies from the library. They have physical movies in the library if you go in, and at least for my branch, you can go on the website and you can watch movies from their like online catalog. They have like digital licensing for some movies, which is amazing, and we love it. And with streaming services being so damn expensive now, it's a great choice to do. Like, it's great, because like, now that we have moved out, we don't have access to Netflix or Disney Plus because we use my parents. But really, we were using Netflix for like Studio Ghibli movies. Well, guess what the library has? The library has digital copies of Studio Ghibli movies. So, it's not an on-demand service, obviously, but you can check them out. If you have a DVD player, you can do it that way, or again, they have the website that you can download them from. Not download, but you can stream them from, which is amazing. Going hand in hand with that, you can also check out video games from the library. I checked out Dragon Age Inquisition so many times from the library when I was a kid. I also checked out there was this Disney princess game where you were this kid with like a wand and you had to go and save the princesses and stuff. I don't know. I don't remember what it was called. I checked that out so many times too. We loved checking out video games from the library. Obviously, if it's a long game, it's not the best option. But if you were just looking for a game to keep your kids busy for a bit, or, just something like Freddy Fish, it's a great option. Video games are at the library, and you can also extend holds on stuff like that. So you can have the game at my library, you can extend your hold 3 times. Your initial loan is 2 weeks, and every renewal is 3 weeks. So that's like, what, it's over 3 months. it's almost 3 months, I guess. So that's lots of time to play a video game, because they don't have, like, at least from what I remember, because I have not checked out a video game in almost 10 years, they didn't really have a lot of AAA titles. It was like mostly smaller things, although they did have Dragon Age. So, but yeah, you can check out video games from the library. The final thing I want to talk about that my library provides is that you can check out museum and provincial park passes, which is amazing because if you didn't know, I am located just outside Toronto. I'm like about an hour out, and we love the Royal Ontario Museum in this house. We love it. We love their temporary exhibits. We love their permanent exhibits. We've only gone once since Journey moved here in 2021 because it's really expensive. However, our library has now just recently partnered up with the ROM to do ROM tickets. So we can check out a family pass and we can go to the ROM, which is amazing. And like, yes, the waiting list is really long, but when you get it, you get a week to use it. So I think you could technically go 2 or 3 times if you really wanted to during that week. But yeah, amazing. And like, they have a bunch of like local museums too, because the city I'm in does have a number of museums that I just haven't been to because, again, museums are expensive. But yeah, you can check out passes to those. And then for the provincial park passes, it's a parking pass. It's amazing because parking can get really expensive at provincial parks. And so you have your parking pass, and then going to the actual park itself is free. So that's also amazing, and we love that because I want to go hiking this summer. I would really like to go to a provincial park and go hiking, so now we know we can get the parking pass for free. Okay, those are all things that my personal library you can rent out, you can borrow. I want to talk about things I've seen other libraries do that mine doesn't, but you know, take a look on your library's website, see what they offer because there's so much stuff. So I've heard some libraries you can rent out sports equipment, which is amazing because that is such a barrier of entrance for a lot of families. If their kids want to do something like hockey, hockey sticks and hockey skates are really, really expensive. Like crazy expensive. You can rent sticks from some libraries. So check out your local library. You also might be able to rent like helmets or like balls for different, I don't know, I'm not a super sporty guy, so I don't know, but apparently some places you can rent out sports equipment. Another thing I've seen some libraries provide is you can rent out crafting supplies. What do I mean by that? Because, you know, crafting supplies are consumable, right? I mean, you can rent a goddamn Cricut. You can just rent a Cricut, take it home for a week, and then take it back to the library. That's amazing. That is a steal if you are crafty. Like, that's amazing. I also want to talk about some of the services that are given to people if they have a library card, which it's very easy to get a library card. If you have a library card, you have access to services. So the first service that I really like using is my library gives us access to LinkedIn Learning, which is great because it's free. And I don't want to pay for LinkedIn Learning. It is a great resource. If you're trying to learn something in Excel, there's tons of Excel courses, Word, like lots of very specific courses for specific and niche areas. So that's a great resource. Also for teenagers or people who are looking into starting a new career, my library gives us access to career cruising. I loved career cruising when I was a kid. It was actually the program my high school used for you to enroll in classes. I don't think they do that anymore. I think it's a different program now. But the benefit with that was it gave you kind of like, if you were like, okay, I want to be a special ed teacher, you could look at like the skills you would need, what classes you need, all that. So that's obviously me coming from a high school perspective, remembering this. But it also just tells you like a bunch of stuff about like these different careers and stuff. It gives you salary ranges, it gives you job responsibilities, that kind of thing. You can do quizzes to see what your personality would best match. Fun fact, my sister got magician, was her like number 2 job with that. Mine was a special education teacher. I don't do that. I don't even think like anything legal appeared on the list for me, but you know, it's a great resource to kind of get a starting point, especially if you have kids or if you are a kid in high school who is about to go in grade 11 specifically in Ontario and going, oh my god, I actually have to choose my specialization courses now. This website gives you a really great idea about like what kind of courses you'll need depending on where your interests lie. On top of that, there's so many other resources. Like when I go on my library page, there's a really long list. There's a lot of language resources where you log in with your library account and you have access to, I think Mango Learning is one of them, and there's a couple others, but lots of different like language learning websites, which, you know, we see all the ads for like Babbel and stuff, which I'm sure those programs are great, but this is free. So we love free things in this house. The next thing I want to talk about is community programs. There are so many community programs at the library that are both fun and educational. So let's get into them. Starting on the educational side, my library has a repair clinic where it's once a month. They have a day that you can just bring in anything you own that's broken, and there are volunteers there who, like, there's like electronics volunteers, there's woodworking volunteers, there's all these different volunteers who will help you fix your object. And it's not just bringing it in and saying, fix this for me. They teach you how to fix it yourself. So if something similar happens, you can take the skills you learned in this clinic and you can apply it. And you can do it yourself at home. And you don't need to wait until the library clinic to go fix things, which is amazing. I think that is a skill that has really been lost. And, you know, I am trying to fix that skill myself and learn how to fix things that are broken and solve problems on my own, because I really do feel that, like, that skill has been lost to time because of, I don't know why, but it's been lost. But yeah. So, there's that. There are also a lot of, again, if we want to go in the language learning route, there are classes at my library. Not classes, they are conversation circles is what they call them. There is the French conversation circle and the English conversation circle. So if you're learning French, you can go to the French conversation circle. If you're learning English, you can go to English conversation circle, which I think is amazing resources because we have a lot of immigrants in the city I live in, and a lot of them don't speak English when they first come to Canada. So these are great ways for them to go and practice just having like small talk, day-to-day conversations with people and practice what they're learning. Or, you know, if you're from Quebec and you move to Ontario and you speak very little English, there you go. You can go to the English conversation circle and kind of, you know, accelerate if you wish to. So I think those are really great. We also have a Toastmasters group at the library, which Toastmasters is kind of like a public speaking group where you go and it's like a public speaking thing. I don't really know. I only know about it because my parents used to do it. They were really big into it. I don't know. Not my cup of tea, but if you are into Toastmasters, check if your library has a Toastmasters group. Your library probably also has really, really niche interest groups. So, for example, my library has just introduced a knitting and, like, not even knitting specifically, just a fiber arts night. So once every 2 months you can go in and just have some tea, have some cookies, work on your projects and chat. And it's great because then you get to meet people who have similar interests to you, and you know, you just get to work on that project that's been sitting in the corner for months. And I know my library has other areas of, you know, interest that they have similar nights for. But the crafting one is the one I like the most, and that's the one I go to. So yeah, that's really fun. Now, if you do like reading, or if you want to get into reading, your library is going to have book clubs. Like, that is a given. The library is going to have a book club. So, you know, you can also check out the book clubs. Unfortunately, my library only has 2 book clubs, and both of them are like on 2 o'clock on weekdays, which is like confusing to me. There's no weekend book club. So that's kind of sad. But let's say your library, their book clubs are at times that do not work for you. Well, go on their website and see if you can start your own book club. A lot of libraries have book club kits where what they do is you choose from their list of books they have, you choose a book, they give you a kit that has 10 copies of the book and a question sheet where it gives you questions about the book. And like, that's amazing because then you can start your own book club. And some libraries will even advertise it if you request this. They will say, okay, we'll put it on our website and people can join if they would like. Some of them don't do that. Mine doesn't do that. But yeah, you can start your own book club and the library will provide those books to you as long as you choose from their list. They usually have a list. Unfortunately, my library has stopped taking requests for books to be added to the list at this point, so you know, there's that. But some libraries, you can make requests for the books to be added to this book club kit list. Some of the other programs your library may have include author talks. Sometimes authors come to the library. I am super jazzed because I just signed up to go to an author talk, and I'm really excited for it because most of the author talks are authors I've never heard of. But this one, I can't remember who the author was, and I can't remember what book it was that she's talking about, but I saw the book and I was like, oh my god, I've read like 2 books by her. I know her. I want to go see it. So it's not just like small indie authors. Sometimes bigger authors will come, depending on where you're at. Obviously, if you're in a more rural area, you're probably not going to get as many author talks unless it's like local authors. Because that's the other thing. My library also does specific author talks for only local authors. By local, I think they mean like Ontarian. Like, I don't think my city has all that many like authors hanging out in it, but yeah. Now I want to talk about the library space itself, because a lot of people, when they think of a library, they think of reference libraries, which are terrifying. And let me be clear, there are 4 branches of the library in my city. One of them is basically a reference library. That library is scary, even to me, someone who loves libraries. I don't go to that branch unless I absolutely have to. So it can be scary when you walk into a library like that. Look at the different branches in your city. If you walk in the first one and it looks like a reference library and it's scary, try a different branch. Because I have been to 3 of the 4 branches in my city, and I love, love, love one of them. It's my favorite, my personal favorite. Lots of windows, beautiful. There's the reference one, and then there's the one that was just the one I went to in high school because it was right beside my high school, which is still nice, but they've changed it a lot and it doesn't feel nostalgic anymore. So check out the different branches, because libraries are not meant to be a quiet space unless you're in like a school library. Like it's a very different environment now than it was even, I'd say, 15 years ago. It's not loud in the library, but people are having conversations. People are chatting. They're there. They're hanging out. They're having a good time. Because libraries are one of the few places people can go and it's free and you can hang out for as long as you want. And a lot of libraries will let you bring in drinks. Not so much food, but as long as your drink has a lid, you can take it, so you can go and you can like sit in there with your friends and sit on the couches, because a lot of libraries have couches just to hang out on, and you can chat, and as long as you're not being really rambunctious, they're not going to ask you to leave. Editing right here, I just thought I'd share. I saw someone, a group of someone's, it was like a bunch of preteens, actually got kicked out of the library for the first time because they were literally fist fighting in the middle of the library. I've never seen someone A, fist fight in the library, or B, get kicked out of the library before. So, yeah. And it seemed like it was a reoccurring issue they've had. This is at the 4th branch that I've now gone to because it's like literally 3 minutes away from my house. Maybe a little bit farther than that actually, but it's just a quick little drive. But yeah, so, seems like they may have some issues with that branch. It's great. So, you can even just go to spend time in the libraries. You can go somewhere for free just to get out of the house for a bit. Personally, I love going to the library and sitting and just reading for a couple minutes. I think it's nice. Libraries are also somewhere where you have free Wi-Fi, and usually there are computers or there is a computer lab there. So I know my favorite library branch, the computers are just out in the middle of the library and you can go. I see so many people playing video games on those computers. They're like, it's mostly Roblox because you can't really download anything on it, but I've seen so many people playing Roblox on there and so many people applying to jobs on there. So if you don't have internet, that's a great option to go use the computers there, or all the computers have Microsoft Word on it. So if you need to go type up an essay for school, there you go. You can use that, because that was my boat for a while. When I did not have Microsoft Word on my personal computer, I would just go to the library and I just type out my essays and print it off right there. So, you know, that is another great resource, is the computers. Yeah. A lot of libraries also have rooms you can rent. So my library has very specific rules for it. You can rent a room, but it can't be used for an activity that the library already provides. So, you know, they're not going to let you rent a room to, I don't know, do one of their crafts. So if they have like cricket nights every month, you can't like be like, oh, I want to rent the room so me and my friends can use my cricket. They're probably going to say no to that. I feel like they wouldn't say no to saying, can I do a book club in here though? I feel like that would be okay. But yeah, so check out your library's website. It'll have a list of rules, but there are spaces you can rent, and they are like entertainment rooms, basically. It's like a room and it has tables and chairs, and yeah, it's like a room you would rent at a rec center is the best way I can describe it. Great to use. The final thing I want to talk about with libraries is the greatest resource that is at the library, which is the librarians themselves. They are always willing to help you with no matter what. I couldn't sign into my online library account. I went to the library and I was like, please help me. And she was like, I got you. And she got me signed in. Like, they are so nice. They're there to help you with any technology. Like, if you just go in and you're like, I have never used a computer before, please show me the basics. They will show you the basics. If you go in and you're like, I am looking for a specific book on this very specific niche interest, they'll be like, slay, I'm gonna help you find it. They are the greatest resource to the library, and they are the nicest people in the world. So do not be afraid to go in the library and ask librarians for help. Don't be afraid to even go into the library and go up to librarians and say, I haven't been in a library since I was a kid. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you just give me the rundown of like how this whole thing works? They will tell you happily. They are amazing, and we love librarians. And yeah, participate in their programs, because I've seen so many TikToks of librarians where nobody shows up to their program, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart every time I see it. So yeah, go to your library, participate in their programs, talk to librarians. They're so nice. I feel like this video has been all over the place, but I just love the library. I think it's a great space. I think it's amazing. And I think everyone should have a library card and go use their library, because in most states in the US, I assume it's the same case for Canada and libraries in Canada, the funding for libraries depends on how many people have cards and are actively using their library cards. So don't just go get a library card and then never go to the library. You got to be using it. Even if you're just using the online library, that still counts. If you're just going on their website to use their language learning services, that still counts. Get a library card and use it, because honestly, if they decide to defund libraries entirely, libraries will never come back. They are never going to let people hang out in a space for free again and give them free internet. So, begging you, please go to the library, please use your library cards. They have so many great things going on. Check out your library's program. You know, mine is just a brochure that they have like at the library that you can pick up and flip through, and they have a PDF on the website. But check out the programs your library offers. Use your library even if you're just going to hang out in there for a bit. You don't need a library card to hang out in the library. They will not kick you out if you don't have a library card. You can just go and sit if you really want to. But yeah, I hope this video has influenced you to go to the library, and please use your libraries. I love the library. I don't want it to go away. And I hope you've learned something new about libraries, because libraries have a lot of programs people are not aware of, and I'm sure I've only scratched the surface on the kinds of programs that are available at libraries. And I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.